Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We are heading back into r/AmITheDevil, and if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up some wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Also, if you guys would like to save 10% on your next order of gamer subs, use code Tommy at checkout, or click the link down below. It'll automatically apply the discount to your transaction, and it helps support the channel. Thank you. Definitely attractive guy who does pretty well with women, but still find myself agreeing with many incel talking points. What do you think? Pretty much what the title says. I am a 27-year-old, 5'7" white guy who is pretty ripped. Visible abs, a 225 bench, and I have a decent face. All in all, I give myself a 7 out of 10 in terms of total physical appearance. I've slept with plenty of women. I get a solid amount of matches on apps. Not a Chad by any means, but again, I do pretty well. I've been with really hot girls who also have dropped my standards. I really wanted to get laid. I've banged women who are 3s and ones who are 9s. And even have had women cheat on their boyfriends with me before. And don't get me wrong, I've been rejected many times as well. I live in the Northeast USA, close to New York City, and have a solid 5-figure corporate job, if that matters. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, dude. Flexing that you have a 5-figure income is nothing, actually. That is the average income is a 5-figure income, dummy. But here's the thing. Reading this sub and just being on the internet in general, I find myself agreeing with many things that are typically considered incel talking points. Things like, women will go for a hot guy who doesn't give a darn about them over a more average guy who treats them right. You can't really listen to what women say. You have to watch their actions. Women will do this with hot guys with little to no effort, while making other guys jump through hoops, take them on dates, never give them the ick, and say all of the right things, etc. On a similar note, women will let things slide for more desirable guys that they wouldn't let more average guys get away with. Men aren't really allowed to have standards. If a woman rejects me for my height, or cause she got the ick from the way that I hold a steering wheel, that is seen as totally valid. But if I won't take a girl seriously because of promiscuous past, she can't take accountability, or she can't let go of attention from other guys, then I'm insecure, controlling, can't handle her, etc. Many women have an inflated opinion of themselves, and see themselves as more attractive and desirable, both physically and otherwise, than they actually are, along with having unrealistic standards a lot of the time. All that really needs to happen for a woman to cheat is for her to be around a guy who makes her feel tingly enough. These are just a few of them that I can think of right now, all of which I've seen play out in life. I don't hate women either at all. I am love-leaning politically, support the deletion rights, and understand that the world can be very dangerous for women in a way that men don't really experience. In fact, I think the above points should be called out because I have met a good amount of women who aren't like this and don't play into these things. It's just that these things happen way more often than enough for them to be legitimate talking points that should be brought up, and men should be educated on them. I know these things happen because I have been on both sides of them. I've been the hot guy who doesn't care and gets to have with nothing more than a Netflix and chill session that I made the girl drive to my house for. I've also been the guy who spent his entire Labor Day weekend last year busting his butt helping a girl that I'm still not over move into her new apartment only to get told that I'm a nice and sweet guy, but not what she is looking for. Still hit though. It's getting harder and harder to take women's dating struggles seriously when I encounter these things over and over again. Note, when I say dating struggles, I'm not talking about things like these 3 bad things, or 4 bad things. I try to empathize. But when I hear women complain about how hard it is to find a man, and turn guys down for the way they walk down the freaking stairs. It didn't happen to me, but a real story that a woman told me. Or complain about how men treat them like garbage, and then fall in love with a bad felon with 2 baby mamas, Sky Jackson. I just can't do it. Would love to hear what the people that actually read all of this think. Thank you. Well, I'm gonna say this right now as somebody who just read the entirety of that thing. You dumb AF. I'm not an expert on the matter myself, but I'm fairly certain that considering that you're the constant in all of those bad things, maybe you might want to try to reconsider how you actually are instead of trying to put yourself in a shining light to try to make yourself look better for other people. Also, it just kind of feels weird whenever anybody gauges somebody on a scale of 1 to 10, meanwhile putting themselves as a 10 or some kind of really high score that you know is not actually true in regards to any of that. Like, you're really just trying to make yourself look more better than you actually are. And yes, I know I just said more better. I do think that the incel echo chamber is something very much to avoid, because a lot of their skewed points are all due to them thinking that nothing is wrong with them whatsoever. Nope, it's always women that are the problem, and they don't like me just because I happen to be a little shorter than, the average bear, and not the fact that your personality is a petri dish full of the T-virus. My boyfriend kicked me out the morning after us, even though we made plans for the day. Did I screw up, or is he being immature and stonewalling me? Edit, I am trying to respond to everyone and will do my best, but this got a lot of comments. And sorry, this is gonna be long. A TLDR, my boyfriend kicked me out of the morning after S for making a joke when basically ghosted me for now 72 plus hours, and I don't know if he's being immature and an a-hole, or if I screwed up. My boyfriend, 40M, and I, 36F, have been dating for 8 months, and to this point, have been wonderful. He's kind, thoughtful, caring, funny, smart, responsible, and he has his stuff together, and is basically all of the things most of my exes weren't. This is a throwaway account because we follow each other, by the way. A bit of a backstory on him. He was married for 15 years, and this is only his 2nd relationship since the divorce. He has been generous about letting me stay over, keep things here, even stock the kitchens with snacks that I like, and the bathroom with some of my products that he noticed I use. And he's been firm that he does not want to live with his significant other again. He doesn't talk much about his ex or disparage her, but it sounds like she complained a lot about how he did housework and it not being up to her standards or him not doing enough. Pretty common complaints, sadly. But I haven't seen any of that. What he has said, though, is that he never wants to put a woman in a position again where she doesn't have her own place to go to, and never wants one to feel like she has to clean up after him or take care of him. Fine in theory, but I really wouldn't mind doing some of that for him. Anyways, he invited me over for Saturday of Memorial Day weekend to spend some time together, and he said that he would grill and make homemade ice cream for me. So I offered to make a couple of side dishes for him. I also asked if he wanted me to come over and spend Friday night. We've been messing around now pretty regularly for 4 months, and he was happy to say yes. Friday night went great. We watched a movie, hung out in the hot tub, went to bed, and had great hand-holdings. I had bought some new lingerie, and he liked it very much. Saturday morning, when I woke up, he was doing laundry because he had washed another set of sheets and a pillowcase that I wanted to stay the night again. He was in the living room watching TV while folding, and I offered to help, but he said that he didn't mind. So I sat down and watched TV. He was doing a good job for a man in the most part, but I couldn't help but laugh when he got to the fitted sheet and jokingly said, "It's my nemesis. You'd think an engineer would figure out a freaking fitted sheet." And he just rolled it up, which made me laugh again. And he laughed and said, "If you want pristine fitted sheets, you should be dating a fold-omologist. But if you have the magic touch, then do you mind folding it?" I laughed and was obviously being playful, and picked up the sheet and started folding and jokingly said, "And if you wanted someone to be your mother, you should have stayed with your ex-wife." And finished folding it, set it down, and when I looked up, he had this look on his face like I had slapped him. I immediately said, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that," and got up to hug him, but he took a step back and put his hands up in a "don't touch me" way. I really meant the comment as, "Haha, your ex was ridiculous" away, but he obviously took it wrong. Then he said he wanted to be alone and he asked me to leave. I told him I was joking and said, "What about the plans we made?" He said that he would make me ice cream another time, but what I said really hurt him, and he wanted some time and space to process it. He has told me before that sometimes he is a slow processor with emotions. I apologized and tried to hug him again and again, stepped back and just calmly said, "I'm sorry, but this is my home and right now I do not want you in it." Well, that really hurt me, and so I kind of dropped back into the couch and started tearing up. He said, "I'm sorry if I caught you off guard." And I said, "Well, yeah, of course it did." But instead of acknowledging it, he just kept going and said, "I understand if you want to take some time before you leave, so I'm going to go take a long shower. Please let yourself out after you've taken some time, but respect me enough to be gone when I get out." And with that, he went into the bedroom and locked the door, and I heard the shower come on, and I just burst into tears. I was really falling for this man, but I felt so unwanted and disrespected and unloved in that moment. I sent him some texts trying to explain and apologize, but after about 30 minutes, I could still hear the shower going. I knocked on the bedroom door hoping that he'd hear it so that I could say goodbye, but no luck, so I just gave up and left. He never responded to any of my texts, and I tried calling him that evening twice, but he never answered. So I sent him a long text at bedtime, and he responded, but didn't even acknowledge anything I said. He just wrote, "Thank you for letting me know you made it home safely. I do genuinely appreciate that." That's it. No support, no acknowledgement, no kindness, no apologies for how hurt I feel. At this point, I was starting to get flashbacks of the guy who had been so bad and toxic and manipulative. But I tried to forget it and give him space and let him sleep on it. I think I felt extra hurt because I had gone out on a limb with the lewd lingerie just one night before and was remembering how it felt to be like a man is using you for messing around and then throws you away. Sunday, I tried to keep the text to a minimum and didn't hear a word from him. Though I know he was on his phone because I saw he did have time to post about video games and lawn care on Reddit. Monday, I texted him a couple of times, but again, not a peep. Then this morning before work, I sent him a text saying, "What the F, dude? Are you really ghosting me after 8 months?" And no response until lunchtime, over 72 hours after he kicked me out, and he just texted, "I really do hope you have a good day at work. I have my therapy session on Thursday. I'll probably reach out later in the week. Probably." The problem is, I still really like him, and I think I even love him. But this just feels so immature and borderline redacted. But then part of me starts to doubt myself, and then I start to worry that I may have screwed up the best relationship I had ever had at that point. I'm just a mess right now, and I don't trust myself and don't know what to do. Am I crazy? Any thoughts on what I should or shouldn't do? Should I just end it, or should I try to fix things? So let me get this straight. You're wondering what your boyfriend did wrong. Meanwhile, you're the one who brought up something that dug deep, and he's going to therapy in order to process things properly, even though it doesn't involve you. And, you know, maybe not responding could be something that he's doing so that he doesn't wind up saying something that jeopardizes anybody's relationship. Because I know at times there are times where people's emotions are elevated, so sometimes they may say things that they don't actually mean. Look, a little bit of a banter back and forth is one thing, but you're very much one of the quotes being, and if you wanted someone to be your mother, you should have stayed with your ex-wife. That was very much a dig that you knew would get under their skin. And yeah, congratulations, you caused them anxiety. Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of your own actions because you said that to your significant other. Congratulations. You're saying that, but then you're then a couple of days later saying, oh, my boyfriend won't talk to me. He kicked me out of the house. Gee, I wonder frickin' why. Am I the a-hole for not driving my daughter and getting mad that she was late? My daughter, 17, has played an elite competitive sport all throughout high school. She plays on the school team during the school season and on a club team for the rest of the time. She plays year-round and has done so since she was 14. Her mom and I are divorced, and she spends 1 week with me and 1 with her mom, switching on Sundays. Her sport takes up whole weekends the majority of the year, so she ends up playing Friday to Sunday or Monday if it's a holiday weekend. Which means I miss a lot of time with her because she is playing her sport on a day that should be mine. Her mom pays for the sport 100%, and I allow her to play. This was the agreement that we had. The program costs $6,500 a year plus travel. My ex-wife says that she spent around $12,000 just on travel this year. Probably not. I think she said that just to see if I would help pay for it, which I didn't. She and/or her mom do all of the transportation to games and tournaments. I don't go because that's not how I prefer to spend my weekends. So, now the story. The last tournament of the year was this past weekend from Saturday to Monday, since Monday was a holiday. Last week was my daughter's week with her mom, which means that she should have transitioned to me on Sunday, but they were out of town for the tournament. They were in the same area as we live in, about 30 miles away, but since the tournament was held downtown in a major US city on a holiday weekend, my ex-wife opted to stay in a hotel rather than drive up and down every day. On Friday, my ex-wife texted me back to ask if I wanted to pick up my daughter at the hotel on Sunday since it was my day, and then bring her to the tournament on Monday, also my holiday this year. I said I didn't want to do that, and that my daughter could just drive to my house after they got home from the tournament. My ex-wife said, okay. On Monday, my wife was busy with her family, so I decided to drive up and watch my daughter play. My ex-wife asked if I was going to take our daughter home, since it was my day. She said that I could take her to her house, and then my daughter could grab her car and come over. I said no. My daughter could just come over after she got home, and I left. Well, my daughter didn't come home for 2 hours. I texted my daughter, but she didn't respond, so I texted my ex-wife and demanded to know why my daughter hadn't come home yet. My ex-wife responded that she was probably napping and would be there soon. I told her that I expected my daughter within the next 5 minutes because that's how long it takes to drive between houses. She finally got there about 15 minutes later. I again texted my ex that this was unacceptable. My ex-wife said that she offered me the chance to drive my daughter and I refused. So she asked why I was being such an a-hole then. I told her that it was because she had made our daughter late and cut into my time. That was the last time I heard from my ex yesterday. So, I guess I'm wondering if she is right and I am the A. Yeah, you very much are. You were given multiple instances to be able to go get her on your own time, but now because you declined those, and not only that, you went to the event that she was playing at and still did not offer to drive her back, then you just outright made it so that she showed up on her own time, while you got upset because... why? Because she didn't happen to want to show up on your schedule even though you weren't the one driving her? This is not making sense. If you want somebody to show up on time in your situation, getting them yourself would have been the better option. But with that, that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!